ToddYoungONLINE presents Young Tales. Tales for the young and the young at heart. Today's story from Bulfinch's Mythology, Hereward the Wake, the last Saxon hero. Listen now and hear of Hereward the Wake, the watchful one, the last great hero of the Saxons, whose feet stood firm in England even as her freedom slipped away. He was a man of flesh and blood, yet his deeds were shaped like legend, for in times of defeat a people must carve giants from mortal stone. Hereward was born in Lincolnshire, a free man of the old English stock, and he came to his strength in the bitter years after the Norman Conquest. The year was 1070, and England lay bruised beneath a foreign crown. Castles rose where villages once stood, and the Saxon tongue was silenced in the halls of power. Yet in fen and forest, among marsh and reed, men still whispered one name, Hereward. When Danish ships came up the eastern coast, Hereward joined them, and together they struck at Peterborough, sacking the abbey and seizing its wealth, not for greed, but for war. Then they fled into the marshlands stronghold, the Isle of Ely, Ely, where water and mud guarded freedom better than any wall of stone. There William the Conqueror came against them, his knights bogged in fen and mire, his engines useless where land itself betrayed him. And though Ely would at last fall, the Saxons forgave Hereward his surrender, for he had shown them how a free man stands even when he must yield. But long before Ely, before kings and conquests, Hereward was already a hero in the making. In his youth, he was sent unwillingly to Cornwall, where a petty king named Aelif ruled, and where injustice reigned. King Aelif had broken his word. His daughter, fair and gentle, had been promised to Prince Sigtryg of Waterford, son of a Danish king. Yet Aelif cast aside honor and betrothed her instead to a Pictish giant, a brute feared by all. Hereward saw the wrong and did not turn away. He challenged the giant openly, steel against monstrous strength, and struck him down in fair and fearless combat. But kings do not forgive easily. Aelif threw Hereward into prison, iron for reward, chains for justice. Yet the princess remembered the man who had risked his life for her honor. That night she came in secret, freed Hereward from his bonds, and sent him swift and silent to find her true betrothed. Go now, find Sigtryg, and tell him I have not broken faith. Hereward found Sigtryg and returned with him to Cornwall, but too late. The princess was now promised to Hako, a wild Cornish hero, and the wedding feast was already laid. 40 Danish warriors were sent ahead to demand justice, and none returned. Then Hereward chose cunning over force. He disguised himself as a wandering minstrel, took up harp and song, and entered the feast hall. A song for the bride, a tune for the hall, music for those who still remember honor. The guests applauded, and Hako, drunk with pride, cried out, Ask any boon, minstrel, and it is thine. Hereward bowed and said, Only this, a cup of wine from the bride's own hand. She brought it, he drank, and dropped into the empty cup the betrothal ring she had once sent to Sigtryg. I returned the cup, Hereward said calmly, richer than before, bearing the token of a promise unbroken. The princess looked and knew. Her eyes met Hereward's. Hope returned. Hereward leaned in, and then the 40 Danes lived. Hereward learned then that the 40 Danes lived, to be blinded at dawn and cast away in shame. Hako would lead the procession himself, and so Hereward chose the place of reckoning. When Hako rode between the rocks, boasting beside his silent bride, Hereward sprang forth. Upon them, Danes! Free your brethren, he shouted. He struck Hako down in one blow, smote off his head, and chaos followed. The Danes were freed, the Cornish fled, justice ran red, and then was done. Sigtryg brought his bride safely to Waterford, where joy replaced fear and gratitude crowned Hereward forever. They begged him to stay, to dwell in peace, to live as a prince among friends. But Hereward was not made for stillness. His spirit was restless, his courage unspent. He went on to other lands, other wars, until at last he returned to England, to stand as the living symbol of a people who would not forget themselves. If Roland is the song of Norman chivalry, then Hereward the Wake is the voice of Saxon freedom, stubborn, steadfast, and unbowed. Though his death is wrapped in legend, his life was real, and his courage unquestioned. And as long as England remembers what it once was, the watchful one will never sleep. And here's where we end for today. Young Tales is produced and narrated by Todd Young from ToddYoungONLINE. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe and join us next time for another story. Thank you for your support.